done a good job. I had learned this over the last couple of years. When I preach certain things, he would say, if they would only listen to what my son said. And that had encouraged me to keep doing it. And it also caused me to understand quickly, you can't preach anything you want to preach. It caused me also to govern my words. Now, I joke around, but it caused me to be careful as to how far I go. Because he's listening to every word that comes out of my mouth. Could you imagine heaven saying, okay, it's Sunday there in the earth. Here we have no days in heaven. There is Sunday. And the angels are reporting the message come forth today from. How you going to feel? Have you ever laid before the Lord waiting on a word? And because you didn't get the word, then you feel like, okay, well, the best thing for me to do is to go ahead and don't do this message because I didn't get a word. The word is in thee. It's nigh thee, even in thy mouth. That's why I tell you the safest thing to preach is Jesus. If you want to preach him, his death, burial, and resurrection, the safest way out. Could anybody think of give me a word for a word that begins with L, with the letter L, that would describe a person or a thing? Love. What else? Loyalty. What else? Leader. What else? Lazy. What else? Lonely. Listening. Go ahead. Anybody else? Give me some big words, man. Anybody else? Lost. Anybody else? Life. Let me tell you what hell is now. What people call hell today. Okay? Hell is, she's hot. Listen, she's hot. She's essential. She's lovely. She's lengthy. That's the new hell. Wouldn't you want to go there? Listen, she's hot, man. This is a hot woman. Too hot, it burns. You say that now. Many churches today don't preach about hell because they are too focused on people getting blessing and the grace message. God is not going to send people to hell because he's a gracious God. God don't send people to hell. People make the decision. You know you could have made the decision this morning to get up and come to church. It was your choice. I love this about God. It all depends on your relationship with God. A young man told us on yesterday. He said, y'all know I don't have my car anymore. Okay, well, what happened to your car? He said, man, got in an accident and they totaled it. Now listen to this now. He had a choice. He said this. He said, I was on my way to get some pizza. And I heard the voice told me not to go that route. But I decided anyway. He said, then when I got to the traffic light, I heard the voice said, go left. But I decided to go right. Choice. And he said, when I went right, a lady came from out of nowhere, hit me in the rear of the door in the car because of so much damage to the vehicle. They totaled it. He said, but if I had only listened, it's a choice. It's a choice. So God doesn't send anybody to hell. It's a choice. And people will blame you and say, well, nobody told me. Yes, they did. You have to preach to them about eternity, heaven or hell. Eternity is totally different from 50 years. Eternity. Anybody ever said that I'm going to be in love with the person forever? You ever said that? It's hard to be in love with a person who is not going where you're going forever. I think the only person that's true to this is Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. They're in love with you forever. If you make your bed or if you decide that hell is where you want to live, they still love you. But God created everybody with choices. With choices. Y'all ready? And he said unto them, who reading?
Go ye into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature.
Now, let me share something with you. There's no way that you going into all the world preaching. So he's talking about the body. You are not going into all the world because you can't go. It's too much for one person. The world is too big. But for what God has assigned you to, you can do. What is going to be said about you when you come to the end of your time here? What type of person were you? What type of person were you? He was whatever. She was whatever. What type of person were you? How did you promote the gospel? How did you preach the gospel? What did you do concerning the gospel? What's going to be said about you? The life you live? That's true. But there are people who, when they talk about you, lie for you, even though you're dead. Well, that person was a loving person. No, that person was an angry person. And anger stems from something that triggered in your life. Whether it be at this age, whether it be at a young age, whatever happened, anger was triggered somewhere that caused spirits, demons to enter you. You know how much Satan hates God? Anytime you find people that hate people, you are portraying the image of God. I'm Satan. Anytime you find people that hate people, you're portraying the image of Satan. Not only that, anytime you find people who don't know how to love, it's because you didn't know how to receive love. Certain things were done in your youth. That's why I tell anybody, listen, you make sure that you date a person before you marry. Dating does not mean you have to have sexual encounter with them. I want to find out about you. I want to know what happened to you in your childhood. Because by you talking to me will tell me everything I need to know, if I have an ear to hear. And it'll steer me away from a lot of things. If he had only known, he wouldn't have never married you. If she had only known, she wouldn't have. Listen, the Bible said, preach it. Go into all the world. Preach. Listen, the Bible said this also. It shall say, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Well, I'm afraid to tell this person the truth. God didn't give me a spirit of fear. Because I have to remember, my warfare is not against humans. It's against what's in you that's fighting against what's in me. It's a war. A young lady told me on a couple of weeks ago, she said, Pastor, I told my boyfriend, if he can come to your church, maybe you can get some stuff out of him. Listen, I can't get the club out of your boyfriend. How I can get the club out of him? I know if he come to your church, you can get some stuff out of him. I can't get the club out of him. It's a choice. Even if I lay hands on him and demons come out of him, he still have a choice. And if the club is not what he's ready to give up, he going right back to the club. When I ended up facing a divorce, the woman left me for another man. That caused me, because, listen, I was speaking this thing for years. I'm going to get saved one day. This is my New Year's resolution. I'm going to get saved this year, New Year's. Another New Year go by. This is my New Year's resolution. I'm going to get saved. God said, okay, I got timing. God, I got timing because I hear you speaking this thing. And when that happened, when she left, that was the year that I got saved. But it drove me to salvation. Why? Because I did not want to hurt anymore. I saw this woman of God that had a peace in the inside of her that I knew I did not have. And I wanted that peace that she had. I was sick and tired of going through what I was going through. Now listen, the enemy didn't tell me that I was the fault. The enemy is not going to tell you, you the problem, you know. He's not going to tell you that. But I thank God that someone preached the gospel that told me the truth, and the Holy Spirit said, you're the fault. Now I got to teach you what you did wrong, how you did it wrong, how the devil did you. Not only that, I'm going to teach you how to get out of it, and I'm going to teach you how to live successfully. And I'm going to teach you how to become an overcomer. Not knowing he was prepping me for a ministry. I think it's a coward man when a man does not face up to his own faults. Or a woman, when she starts saying, because listen, we read it too much in the gospel. When God came to Adam, he didn't came to Eve. Eve there, Adam here. He came straight to Adam. Adam. He didn't go to her. He came to him. Adam. What did he do in return? Well, God, the woman you gave me, she did eat of it, and she gave also to me. And that's exactly what I was doing. I was saying it was her because she wouldn't talk to me, because she wouldn't love me, because she stopped doing this and she stopped doing that. Now, I was saved, but I was doing that. And then the Lord showed me, what did you do? Because the enemy is telling you she did everything. What did you do? And after he sat me down and taught me and showed me how the devil operated in my life and what the devil did, then I was able to tell a young lady, listen, one of the hardest things that a man who full of pride Listen what I say. Full of pride. Pride is just another name for hell. Full of pride. That's all it is, just another name for hell. Full of pride. When I saw that young lady, I asked, I said, listen, please forgive me. What's wrong? What happened to you? I said, please forgive me. I said, because the things I did to you, I didn't realize what I was actually doing. And I blame you for what I did. Please forgive me. And she said, oh, I forgive you, I forgive you. I said, no, you really don't understand. Please forgive me. Because I've seen my way. Please forgive me. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? Because if you can't ask that, you hadn't met the Holy Ghost yet. If you can't do that, well, I was the same way. I hadn't met him yet. But boy, when I met him, see, I thought I was just going to get saved. I didn't know all this other stuff came along with salvation. I was just going to get saved. But the only way this woman had that peace was that that woman got saved and she had to turn around and go and ask for forgiveness for some of the things she had done. I didn't know that. All I wanted was salvation. Forget the rest. And God said, when I'm through with you, you're going to go back and you're going to repent and you're going to ask forgiveness and you're going to see your fault. And man, when God opened my eyes to see what I have done, oh my goodness, I ruined that woman's life. I told the woman, I said, if I was you, I would have left me also. I couldn't see my fault. I was blind. All those years, man, I was blind. And you know what people say? If somebody had only told me, they were. The signs were there. You were headed on a collision course. And God had to set a roadblock to keep you from destroying yourself. And when that relationship ran into that roadblock, everything stopped. Nothing else meant anything anymore. Mama couldn't help me. Daddy couldn't help me. Nobody could. Trouble. Serious trouble. And so today I preach a gospel designed to teach others when you're in trouble, go to the one who calms the water. I can't calm the water. God can calm the water. Now, could you go back and fix what you've done? Don't try. Because you're going to waste your time. Because I tried that. It don't work. The Spirit of the Lord taught me a lot of things that don't work. I'm going back now trying to fix. Because I had done the woman so bad, I'm trying to fix it. Here's what I'm doing. Listen, and the enemy was using her to use me. Hey, man, I need $200 this week. Oh, no problem. I need $100 this week. Oh, no problem. Because I was trying to fix what I had done wrong. And then the Spirit of the Lord told me, I didn't create you to be used. I created me to use you. And I don't take advantage of you. And when I pulled back, she got offended. So then the Lord showed me you was not all the problem. She was also. But he taught me about me first before he taught me about her. Then I stopped trying to fix it. See, when should a Christian say no? Listen, let's go look at some of them crazy movies. No. You don't. Well, a young lady told me this, a prophetess told my wife and I this, said this. There are times when you have to do the things that your husband like so that you could win your husband. It all depends on what the things the devil in him likes. The Bible says, preach it, listen, preach it unto them. And he said unto them, go ye into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. 2 Timothy, I told y'all, 4:2. She said to them, to us, and see, he loved the club. So in order to get him to do this, I need to go to the club. The devil is a liar. Because if that's the case, then good. Let's go to Arizona and let's go to a brothel. Because I love that. You're not going. Why are you not going there? You see? Now, you don't want to go to a brothel, and that's a better word to put it. Because you saying it's wrong. Well, I'm saying the same thing. I can't do it. Because if I have to give in, no, I didn't say broth, chicken broth. Take it for what it is. Chicken. I didn't know what the word was too until I found out what the boy went through. The basketball player. Yeah. What he went through, then I found out what it meant. I saw y'all too with, what is that? He's thinking chicken broth. That's chicken broth. A brothel is a place where females are exploded. Okay? All right, y'all know what I'm talking about? All right. Where they're taking advantage of it. And people pay for it. Okay. It's legal there. All right? So if I make that decision and you make that decision, who's right? Who's wrong? And the only thing I could tell the young lady when she told me this, a prophetess now. I told her, I said, listen, if you have to go that low to win this person, you don't need them. Because you compromising to try to win a man who really don't want Christ. But I want you to understand, the man was not just the problem. She was also. Because it's one thing to preach the gospel, but then not live it. So as we were talking, blah, 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 she going into all this stuff. And then, as we were talking, prophetess, as we were talking and stuff like that, the curse words started flying out of her mouth. So, oh my God, no wonder. Yeah, if he would have had his blinkety, blink home, we wouldn't have never been blinkety, blink. The man said, listen, when I was under the surgery, I should have just stayed under the surgery and just under that anesthesia, whatever. I should have just stayed, never come back. Why would you say that? I'm tired of her. She was tired of him. He was tired of her. And they were both tired of each other. Could you imagine this right here? Could you imagine this? The Bible said, love your neighbor as you love yourself. Anybody in love with their neighbor? Anybody in here got a neighbor that is just impossible? Anybody got a neighbor that deal with witchcraft? Now, I want you to understand now, you might be the neighbor that the person saying, I can't love. And you saying the neighbor is the person I can't love. The Bible said, love your neighbor as you love yourself. I'm looking around. I see y'all dressed up, so apparently y'all love yourself. Now, if you had people that didn't know how to dress, didn't want to dress, whatever, blah, 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 then I'd probably say, you really don't love yourself. Or you just can't do no better than what you're doing. I'm looking around. I see haircuts. A young man, little boy, made a statement to me. He said, Papa, I don't want to go on no airplane. I said, why? Because I ain't ready to die. So you love yourself. You love something about your life that you ain't ready to give it up. Could you imagine that? as a minister, as a prophetess. Now she could say, I've been in it for so long and he don't want no change and blah, 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 blah. No, 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 baby. You haven't allowed Christ to do what he does. You've been trying. And that's why you stress. See, God will do what he can do. You do what you do. What do? Live the life before the person. Live the life before the person. Live what kind of life? I can't do anything I want to do when I want to do and how I want to do it. I have to live in such a way that if the individual decide to go to hell, you know the only thing the individual can say, she did or he did live a life before me. You have no excuse now. Live the life. What are you talking about? Live the life. Live a life before the person that the person could only say, yeah, she or he saved. Ain't nothing I can do it. I tried to change him. Live the life. If you live the life, Christ will change the person. But if you can't live the life, the person gonna call you a hypocrite. Anybody know any hypocrites? Hypocrite. Anybody? But listen, here Paul told Timothy, preach the word. Be in season, out of season, reprove, rebuke, exhort with long suffering. This means you going through something and somebody else going through something. Anybody like long suffering? Anybody been in a relationship that you've been in with somebody? It don't have to be a husband or wife or whatever, family, whatever. You've been in a relationship and you've been in that relationship so long and you're miserable. Long suffering. And you asking how long? The day is the day. What is the day? I'm leaving the day. I'm leaving on that midnight train back home. You ever been in where you feel like I have done more than enough, man, and the person don't want no change? Well, here is what Christ is saying. That's what you saying. Here is what Christ is saying. You have been on this earth, how old are you? 49 years. And for 49 years, Christ said, I have came to you and tried to get your attention on numerous occasions to show you how much I love you. And I'm suffering so much trying to get your attention. But you are not ready to give in. Let me show you, I'm going to give you long suffering. You ever read, because we have, I know you, some of you have, some of you hadn't been here, with the Israelites in Egypt, 400 and suffering. And God told Abraham, their father, that they would go into Egypt and they would be in slavery for 420 something years. And then I would come and deliver them. That's long suffering. Now, most of us in here, we ain't over 65 years old. So the suffering we went through ain't that bad. Because we went through it for a year and we got out of it. We went through it for a week and we got out of it. The only suffering some of you might have suffered for, and it ain't suffering, you call it suffering because you can't spend like you want to spend money. You can't spend money like you want to spend money. It ain't suffering. Yes, I can't trust you with it yet. There are times when God will wait until certain desires in you die before he give you certain money. Is that desire died yet for you to have that 2-bedroom house yet? That desire gone yet? It gone, Sister Deborah? You ain't never want that? Anybody, the desire is gone yet? That desire ain't gone yet? You never had that one? Anybody, the desire is gone for you to have 20 cars? Is that desire gone yet? Never had that one either? 2 cars, 3 cars, 2 cars, 2 cars. The desire still there for certain things. All right, I'm going to bring one right to you. Is the desire gone yet for you to have 30 wigs? That'll get your attention. 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 Is that desire gone yet? That will get your attention. That will cause you to understand, oh, this is what he's talking about. Okay, yeah. Pastor, that one ain't gone yet. God will wait until, no, that's not one of them. But God will wait until certain desires. So the parent, you say, oh, thank God. God will wait until certain things. She said she ain't got 30, but she on the way. She need them. She ain't got 30 yet, but she need them. Listen, God will wait until certain things, certain desires are gone. Because a lot of times if you give young men that type of money, they're going to get into big trouble. All right? They're going to get into, not that God doesn't have it for you, but God wants you to have it in such a way that it doesn't control you. Anything in moderation could be a good thing. In moderation. God will give you sin in moderation. Now he hates it, but he allow you to be in it in moderation for a period of time. In moderation. Some people go too far with it. And God said no. Like me, if I go into certain sins, demons immediately attach themselves to me. So in other words, the same way I have angels that's with me, demons are following me also. And they're saying, go into it, because as soon as you go into it, I'm getting you. And I feel when they grab me. Now, listen, I didn't pray. Listen, now I didn't pray last Thursday. I didn't pray the Thursday before that. I just skipped days of praying. But when them demons attached to, I go to praying name. In the mighty name of Jesus, I go to rebuking in the mighty name, because I don't want these things on me. Preach the gospel. In season, out of season. Preach it when they want to hear it, when they don't want to hear it. Listen, I ain't got nothing to do with the suffering that you go through, because what I go through is different from what you go through. But I want you to understand, it is not an excuse to preach it. You preach it better when you're going through. It is easy to have compassion for a person when you have gone through the same thing the person went through. Now, let me share this with you, and this is what I want you to understand. Really, I want you to understand this right here. In the days that are to come, there are going to be a lot of people that come out of the kingdom of darkness into the kingdom of light that were on drugs. Because there's a whole lot of people now that's on drugs. And God is going to bring them out of that lifestyle to go and reach those who are still in that lifestyle. So you might look at some of your children and say, well, what are they going to be? Some of these kids, sad to say, some of these people that you know in this city, sad to say, going to end up on drugs. And guess what? They might be some of our children. But God, why did you allow them to get? You told me they had callings on their life. God, they were preachers, God. They were going to be prophets. They were going to be pastors. They were going to be this. Why did you allow them to get on it? Because when I deliver them, they are going to reach the people that are out there on this stuff. Don't panic because your child is whatever. God ain't through. But I want you to understand now. I want you to understand this. If you haven't surrendered all to God yet, it's going to take a while for them to surrender all. The longer it takes for you to give your total life to him, it's going to take them children just as long. What are you talking about, Pastor? What are you talking about, Pastor? How many in here you want your children and your grandchildren saved? Okay, well, that's good, man. That's good. Sister Winnie, don't raise your hand. I mean, well, you got nieces and nephews. All right. Nieces, I should have said that. Nieces and nephews, cousins, you expect them. You expect them. Good. Thank God for it. Jesus Christ. You see that? She expected. Thank God for Jesus Christ. All right. How many of you expecting your children to be what God has called them to be? How many of you? They got callings on their life, man. My children, my grandchildren, they got callings on their life. All right? Listen, how many of you expecting your spouse to be? Husband, wife? How many? Okay? You're expecting your husband or your wife to become whatever God called them to be, right? All right. Now, how many of you are in and out? The day you saved, tomorrow you're not. Ain't too many hands. Ain't no hands, as a matter of fact. What the world going on here? Now, y'all wouldn't sit in church and tell a story. You know, I say a story now. Y'all wouldn't fib. Not in church. So y'all telling me that you are totally surrendered to God. In and out. If you are not totally, you in and out. You in and out. For the ones you are, listen, this is what God told my wife and I to help y'all guys out. This is what God said. He said, every time I get y'all to a place and I leave you there, when I come back, you're not there. That's the same thing Adam them did. So that means, sir, you're not totally there. I'm trying to get you to where you stay where I leave you at. The proof was on Sunday evening. When we had the last service, Sunday morning, we all excited about Jesus. Boy, you wanted to throw towels and stuff in the church. The Spirit was so powerful, so anointed. Sunday evening, gee, we are climbing Jacob. What happened? Within a couple of hours. So see, you in and out. You in and out. It's what you are ingesting when you're not in the house of God. See, you have to be consistent. When you're not in the house of God and when you are at home thinking that you are not in the house of God, you are the house of God. So it doesn't matter where I am this. So therefore, God said, let Adam, this is where I place you at. Stay there. Do not go to that tree and bother that tree. Stay where I place you at. He couldn't do it. He didn't do it. And so our problem is, the enemy's thing is, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring them a feeling. Because humans love feelings. Sister Pam, we don't love feelings? We love feelings. Women love feelings. Y'all can tell me what y'all want to tell me. Women love feelings. Touch me. What you want me to touch you for? I just want to feel love. Girl, you better get that Bible right there. All right, I'm just joking with y'all guys now. Men, the same way. She don't make me feel good no more. She don't make me feel feelings. All these things God is saying, these are the things that's pulling you away from me. These are the things that's pulling you away from me. You ever worked a job and you saw something that you want and it looked good and you knew you didn't have to pay for it? And you took it and you said, they won't mind. God said, see, you're not staying where I left you. A man of God had told me this some years ago. He said, in preaching this, he said, if you take a pencil from your job, you stole. Without permission, you stole. See, it ain't the big fox. It's not the big sin. It's the little sin that gets you every time. Because that little sin will open a big door. Though it starts little. But it will open a door that will bring sin into your life. Big sins. Little things. Nothing sin-wise start big. It always starts small. So now, God had told me, he told me this. He said, I dealt with you, and 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 I dealt with you. Listen, now I'm tired. And I dealt with you, 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 and I dealt with you. How much breath does it take you to, how much energy? I dealt with you, and I dealt with you, and I dealt with you, and I love you, and I dealt with 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 you. And guess what he told me after that? When my boys start going through what they were going through, and the girls start going through what they were going through, and the grandkids start going through what they, you know what he said to me? You know what he said to me? He didn't forget what he did with me, what he went through with me. He didn't say to me, oh, I love you and I'm going to fix this problem. He didn't say that like that. You know what he said? I dealt with you and you ran for a long period of time. So don't expect for them to come in tomorrow. And guess what it did, Brother Joe? It lifted the burden. It caused me to do this. Step up. And look at the situation and pray about it. I don't lose no sleep over the kids. Not over the girls, not over the boys. I don't lose no sleep. Why? Because I knew I sowed the seed, Adam. And because I sowed the seed, I can't fix the problem tomorrow. Because when God dealt with me, if I had only surrendered, it would have caused them to surrender quicker. Now, what I have done, I've caused them to go through what could have been avoided. Oh my goodness, boy, we already hit a nerve. We already hit a nerve. You've been in this ministry for X number of years, and you know what the Lord has been saying? You should have been much higher. And the reason why your children is no more better than what they are is because of you. Listen, he said, preach it when they don't want to hear it, and preach it when they want to hear it. So I'll preach it when you don't want to hear it. I'll preach it when you want to. You want to hear me talk about money. So I'll preach when you don't want to hear it. What is that? I'm going to preach when you don't want to hear this. So the same way I procrastinated, they'll procrastinate. But they'll talk to me, pray for me. Oh, I'm praying for you. You played around with the gospel. You preached it. You was in and out. Now you just decide to give your life completely to me. And now you want me to change them tomorrow. No, I'm giving them room. And I'll bring them in when I'm ready to bring them in. And not when you tell me. Because if you had done what I told you, I would have moved when you say move. Some of y'all got 10 years in. 10 years of what, Pastor? 10 years of running. Here is the thing, Sister Deborah. You're not a runaway slave. Because you're free. You're a runaway free individual. God set you free. And if you are free, this ain't going with the wind, Well, I'm just running like I'm in the wind. This ain't that. What's the movie where the lady sing the song, Do, Re, Mi, So, and they singing on the mountain? Yeah, this ain't the sound of music either. You running, singing songs. This ain't that. Somebody's life is at stake. Somebody's life is at stake. Let me tell you something. I want you to understand this. God watches everything you do and everything that you don't do. Whenever you procrastinate, it causes one of your children to also walk in that. Pastor, I don't know how to start a church. Me either. I ain't know how to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Well, how you got yours started? God. Well, Pastor, God. How you think other people started one? God. I don't know what to tell you. Well, Pastor, I don't know where to start at. I didn't know where to start at either. Well, Pastor, I didn't have all the money I needed. I didn't either. I had a car. Well, what do you want me to do with the car, Pastor? Use the car for what it should be used for. More than just you joyriding. Because I want my children to be a part of ministry. Pastor, you ain't did good. Ain't but one of my child is in ministry. That's her. Where the rest of them at? But they got callings on their life. And so I made my mind up. Okay, God, I'm going to do it your way. I'm going to stop running. I'm going to stop doing all this stuff. I'm going to run towards you instead of running away. Because I run so far away, it's the grace of God that you hadn't allowed me. He won't let me get out of sight because of the angels. Listen, God said, I have increased the angels in your life. What does that mean? Increase the numbers or increase the size? Both? I'll take both. I'll take it either way he gave it. I'll take it either way he gave it. Now when you look at your children like, what am I doing that's going to cause their life, their calling to be delayed? What am I doing that's going to cause their life to be delayed? The calling to be delayed. I want these children saved. I want them in the body of Christ. I want them to come to me. I want them to work in ministry. Then the next thing is God start getting people's attention. God start getting people's attention. Now here's what you have to ask the question. A young man told me on a couple of weeks ago, he dealt with pornography. I'm just saying the word without saying the word. He dealt with pornography. Okay? Now you dealt with pornography. Who in your family dealt with that? Because you open a door. And every door that is open, that door is open until someone shut it. And that thing will run throughout that whole house. And it will bleed over into other people's house when you deal with this. Because it's a spirit. Pastor, you never told the truth. I dealt with it. One of my sons dealt with it. Well, Pastor, listen. Pastor, did you shat? I did. One of my sons do it. Daughter do it. Pastor, did you sneak around? Yep. Now I see them doing it. Pastor, did you lie? Yep. Now I know they'll do it. Listen. You have an art against your family members. Now your children are going to have an art against you. If you deal with unforgiveness, your children are going to deal with unforgiveness towards you. I ain't going to forgive them. I'll never forgive them for what they done. And then remember, when you do something, your children are going to tell you, I ain't never going to forgive you either. Now you see history repeating itself because the weapon, the battle that we are in is spiritual. Has nothing to do with the carnal individual, the people. It has to do with spirits. Now the child hates you. Why? Because you hated mama. Why? Because you hated uncle. Why? Because you hated auntie. Why? Because you hated this person. Why? Now you're saved and you want everything fixed because you got saved. It don't work like that. It don't work like that. It don't work that quick. It don't work that quick. Whatever you did, if you don't shut the door, if you don't ask God to close these doors, these children that you have, family members, are going to suffer because of doors that were open. Now here's the question. See, the enemy, everything is funny to the enemy. All the children gone? Okay. Everything is funny to the enemy. And it's serious with him, but it's not funny. It's serious. To him, he laughs because I can get you to do what I want you to do. Here's what he said, Brother Derek. I got you watching pornography. I said pornography. Children were here. Pornography. Here is the question. Who in my family messed with this? Before smartphone came along, how did I got pornography? Video. Before video came along. Books. Before books came along. How did I got it? They thought you were sleeping, but you were peeping at your whoever. See the door? See the door? Now, because of the door you open, your children are now going to experience. Now I want you to understand this. They're going to experience it at a greater level than what you experience it at. See, you experience it as all we did was watch it and try to act it out in the bedroom and realize after about a year of acting out, man, please, that's fake. That thing don't work like that. Them people getting paid for that mess, man. That's why I came to the conclusion. Man, that fake mess, man, bring that thing here to me, man. A fake mess, man. People acting. They're getting paid for that. Not knowing I was killing myself in the inside. I was destroying me in the inside. Now, it's the grace of God that one of my boys haven't touched one of the girls. The grace of God. It's the grace of God that they hadn't touched the grandkids. Because it goes further. Their generation, almost anything goes. See, listen. He said, preach the word and be instant at it. In season. Not as a sister.
Yeah, she didn't talk nothing else. So he began to send her pictures on the phone, send it to her phone, and she married. So he began to send nude pictures of himself to the sister.
New pictures.
Nude.
I know you said nude.
And this is her brother. And she told her husband. So he had to cut him off.
The brother.
The brother.
Listen now. We are wrestling not against people. See, the demon has taken over him. Who in here, if you got siblings, you in love with them like that? It's a spirit of incest, first of all. It's a spirit of lust. But now, here's what I want you to understand. It stems from something.
An 11-year-old
The 17-year-old got the 11-year-old cousin pregnant. You see the time with. Or in Cleveland, 11-year-old had a baby, and they arrested 3 family members for helping her deliver the baby. I'm just throwing it out there. I know what you're talking about.
I mean, when I read the story, it just said arrested 3 family members. So she said a 17-year-old, 11-year-old had a baby. I was asking what they were saying.
Go ahead, tell me.
Another thing I would like to share something on this topic right now is a lot of
This ain't church.
yes it is. It's featured where a lot of people family members messed up in this area, especially when you're dealing with incense and spirit. The time frame that we're in now, it is greater than it was back then. You got a lot of family members, I have little sisters and little brothers that take baths together. That's not good.
Now say that again.
Sisters and brothers bathe in the tub together. That's not good. It doesn't matter what age they is. That should never be. Or have the little girl or the little boy.
We're trying to save water.
Like that. To have them run around the house with no clothes on. That's not good. Because you're opening up a door. Kids right now are very curious. They're wondrous. There's too many technology out there now, and when they get a certain age, they start searching. Because you got kids now with cell phones at 3 years old, and they're unmastered. So they know how to go on these things and
Run through my house with a negligee or thong on. I'm gonna take a picture. You walk through it, I'm gonna take a picture of you. And I'm gonna put up on the screen. I'll hide your face. But I don't put up on the screen. Come through. Like you come and spend a night, and this is what you do in your house, so this is what you decide to do in mine. I'm gonna take a picture of you. So the devil, that's good?
that's why everybody ought to know what's going on in your house. No.
Listen,
In my house, you don't lock your doors. You ain't got no house. I don't boy your door. You ain't lock my door.
one thing I don't do and would not do is enter the girls' room unannounced. Well, this is my house. Bring them. No. They growing. They experiencing things. No. You have to carry yourself in a manner. But when you open a door, one door, that door leads to many things. And one demon could destroy a whole family. Could split a whole family with just, and anytime you allow sexual things in your home, pornography, you have allowed sodomy into your home. Sodomy is like Sodom and Gomorrah. And it's going to run rampant in that home among those children. Now, here's what you say. They didn't see it. You don't have to see it. They don't have to see it. You a spirit. Every one of us in here is spirit. You die, your body is committed back to the dirt. Your spirit is going to heaven or hell. So you're a spirit. So if that is true, then what we're talking about is, I don't have to see it. You engage in it, that gives the demons permission to operate in my life. Just like I gave demons permission to operate in my son's life and daughter's life.
Because of what that young lady or that young man has seen on that screen or whatever, on video or whatever, it causes them to space out in school.
Oh, yeah.
Because they no longer concentrating on school. They're concentrating more so seeing what they've seen on that.
The image.
The image.
We were created in the image and in the likeness of God. So the image plays a big role. So now I'm looking at an image. If the teacher walk by, I'm visualizing the teacher. If you walk by, I'm visualizing you. Because of what I have allowed to enter my mind. Now my mind is being controlled by this. And the enemy's going to keep giving me a hunger for it, even the more. And guess what? There's no satisfaction. And so what's going to happen is, when you can't satisfy me, I'm going to somebody else. Because I'm looking for satisfaction in that area. And I cannot satisfy a hunger that a spirit has placed in me. And it goes further than you want to go. This is not church.
The sheer is like when you're dealing with a lustful spirit. I mean, a lustful spirit can enter a child at a young age. That child will be like a year old. A lustful spirit can enter that child because as soon as they come, and parents ought to know when this child come up with, oh, I like this and I like that. Oh, she fine. A lot of parents will look at her, oh, he like women. Oh, she like men. No, at that age, what they know about liking somebody? No, a spirit already entered your child at that age. So as when they get a little older, that spirit begins to grow, that lustful demon. Now you got problems because, oh yes, they're either going to try and act up on some family member or their siblings, sisters or brothers, or when they get older, they will really, really act out with that thing. So that's how lustful demon begins young in a child. And parents need to address that as soon as they see their child start operating in that spirit. So this is a spirit.
What I want you to do is just stop watching, paying attention to what your children is watching. Not only watching, watch your children around your children. Watch your son or your cousin or your friend around your children and see what they do. And you'll be surprised. All right? Go to Genesis 19. Since I'm trying to stay away, but y'all don't want to go away from it. All right? I'll try to get away from this stuff, but it don't seem like that's the direction y'all want to go. All right? You have to teach children. The Bible said train them up in the way that they should go, and when they're older, you know. But I want you to understand that there are consequences. There's a reaction to every action. Whether it's going to be a reaction in the spirit realm or in the physical realm, it's going to be a reaction. All right? And if somebody had told me this years ago, I would have never got involved with that, probably. But enter at a young age. If a child is already watching it, or an adult, the spirit is already in them. Because they don't know anything about spiritual stuff. It's already in them. All right? I remember a young man going to his house and stuff like that. And he got it playing on his TV like nothing to it. But he was living by himself. What the world are you doing? Oh man, I watch it all the time.
That's how it was in the military. Like my first radio station in Germany,
Mm-hmm.
like over there in Germany, they advertise. They advertise stuff. They advertise. You be walking down the street, they got little, like, you know, like a sale window, like clothing,
Mm-hmm.
but they call it peep show.
Okay.
You go up there like a little dog and put in a machine, and you know, the cover goes back, and then she dancing or whatever the case was. So I remember it was when I had broke my ankle, and I was on quarter right through the stage room. And one of my roommates, he said, well, you know, what you gonna do? I said, I'm gonna watch TV. Over there, you ain't got no TV. All he had was porno movies. So that's all I did one day, just sit there and watch movies all day long.
Ooh, jeez. If I watch that stuff today, I will get sick as weeks sick to the point to where I'm throwing up. That's what God did in me. To the point to where I'm throwing up sick. That kind of sick. May have to end up going to the doctor. So it don't faze me. When God delivered me from it, he delivered me from it. It don't faze me no more. I noticed some of y'all, he didn't deliver you from it. I'm looking at the faces. Why are you talking about this? Why we talking about this right here, man? Listen, you're supposed to be talking about Jesus. This is about Jesus. This is about Jesus. But I'm telling you, you either talk about it right now so you can deal with it in your family before it get out of control. Because it's going to get out of control. If your spouse deal with lust, it's going to pass to one of those children. I might as well tell you that. My child say, okay, good. Send him to college. From Beirut, is going to introduce himself or herself to your child. And Beirut parents did not have no type of governing in Beirut's life. And Beirut is going to introduce your child to what you dealt with in your life. And you don't even know Beirut. Genesis 19. Y'all there? Genesis 19. Verse 1. All right?
And there came 2 angels to Sodom at
Go ahead.
even. And Lot sat in the gate of Sodom.
That's in the Bible. Go ahead.
And Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them.
Yeah.
And he bowed himself with his face toward the ground.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And he said, Behold, now my lords turn in.
Go ahead.
I pray you into your servant's house, and tarry all night, and wash your feet, and ye shall rise up early and go on your ways.
Go ahead.
And they said, Nay, but we will abide in the street all night. And he pressed upon them greatly, and they turned in unto him, and entered into his house, and he made them a feast, and did bake unleavened bread.
Where we at?
Before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. And they called unto Lot, and said unto him,
Go ahead.
Where are the men which came in to thee this night?
Go ahead.
Bring them unto us, that we may know them.
Your Bible said, know them. My Bible said, they called to Lot, where are the 2 men who came to you tonight? Bring them out to us so that we can have sexual relationship with them. To know them in that sense is sex with them. The men asked this. The men asked this of the angels that came into the town. So we can rape them. You'll say, bring them out so we can rape them. Men rape the men. See, when you open up a door, sodomy enter, anything comes up. Some men would take their boys at the age of whatever, and they would take them to someone that have relationship with other men so that the women could have relationship with their boys. They call that becoming a man. I'm going to take you. And you just open the door in that boy's life. That's going to cause that boy years of heartache. Trying to satisfy something he could never satisfy. Go ahead, these are the men.
And Lot went out at the door unto them, and shut the door after him.
Go ahead.
And said, I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly. Behold, now I have 2 daughters which have not known man.
They virgins. Go ahead.
Let me, I pray you, bring them out unto you, and do ye to them as is good in your eyes. Only unto these men do nothing.
Go ahead.
For therefore came they under the shadow of my roof, and they said, stand back. And they said again, this one fellow came in to sojourn, and he will needs be a judge. Now will we deal worse with thee than with them.
All right, stop now. Read it in your translation.
Lot stepped outside to talk to them, shutting the door behind himself. Please, fellows, he begged, do not do such a wicked thing. Look, I have 2 innocent virgin daughters. I will surrender and give them both to you, and you will do unto them everything that you have wished. But leave these men alone, for they have come under my protection.
What does these people know about that type of sex back then? Now here's what people say. This is what people say. The black man say, the Bible been written by white people. For what the world do these old white people back then know about this back then? I didn't wrote this Bible now. I just read the Bible. I love the Lord, and this is his word. But what does this do in here? What is this doing here? It's amazing. It's in here, and you see it happening today. Go ahead. Oh. He's supposed to protect the daughters. That what you're saying? And then here he's giving his daughter. I want you to understand this right here. He did it during that time. He did it because the men did not have a desire for the women. They didn't want the women. He knew they didn't want him. But he was willing to give them his daughters so that they could do, even listen now, because when you give them, if they really wanted them, they would have done some stuff to them. But he knew they didn't want them. Now I want you to understand this too. Lot put himself in that situation to compromise his family because of the decision he made. He compromised his family because of that. Yeah. The angels would have protected the daughters. Precious virgin daughter. But you have to remember this now. You have to remember this now. The only way Lot knew anything about God was through Abraham. There ain't no salvation back then. So he didn't have a mind to where this isn't right, where, spiritual and all this stuff. He didn't have that mindset. Because really now, you putting your daughters in harm's way. And you and I today would say, dead wrong. Dead wrong. You don't do that in today's time. But during that time, the man is in a situation. He knew nothing about angels. He didn't understand the power they have. All he knew that these men were of God. And he was willing to, because when a person came under your roof, they were under your responsibility. You had to protect them. And he knew this. But what those men wanted, he wanted them to find in his daughters. And they didn't want that. They didn't desire for it. The desire was gone. See, when you go into pornography, the desire for certain sex, gone. You lose it. Now you want to experiment. Demons don't care if you experiment with your mama. After the fall, yeah, it did.
Because when he blamed Eve, the value of a woman in itself decreased. That's why, then the scripture came in and talked about, the woman should hurt you, my breast is hurt, then it increased the value once, Jesus came on the scene. Because now
He came through a woman. Yeah. Yeah, the value of a woman did decrease now. Because back then, a lot of them women were servants. They were, they were wives to many different, yeah. So the value of them were, yeah, that's a good point. The value of them were decreased. The value today now, there ain't no decrease.
he looked at it like the Asian value was worth more because in that society, listen,
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. That's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it. That help you? That's good. That's good stuff. Go ahead. Look at it. This ain't church now. Go ahead. Yeah. At all costs. So I'm going to give you this that you would not bother them. Yeah, really negotiate. And he had to use what he had. Commodity. And basically, he had his daughters. I mean, don't do that today, please. And listen, let me share something with you. We do it anyway. Because anytime you open these type of doors, you have just... How many of y'all love your children? I love them, man. I wouldn't put my children in harm's way like that. But you did it not knowing, out of ignorance. And that it does, yeah, it does, Lord. You got to help me. You got to help me to close these doors. I don't know what to do, blah, blah, blah. And many of us have gone through with our children involved in pornography. Some of us don't know to this day. Because if you give them one of these right here, or a computer, they have total access. I know y'all want to hear this today. I know y'all want to hear Jesus Christ crucified and his death, burial, resurrection. I can tell you about that too. I ain't going to back up over this. Go ahead. Oh yeah, listen. Anytime I'm out here and I think nothing is going on, I'm trying to hit on a woman. Like ain't nothing going on. I'm hitting on a woman. She don't know. Hitting on a woman. She don't know nothing about it. I'm hitting on a woman. God said, yeah, you doing it. I'm watching it. You opening doors. Because the devil is standing there looking at you. That's why you find preachers today who get mad when their children doing things. Because they want everything to be fixed when they became Christians. It ain't going to happen like that. Give me the grace to go through this. God will give you the grace to go through it. Brother Joe ain't know what to say.
We really need this because I would see some things my boy do on Facebook, and I know they're coming from the life, and they put all these things with the Bible and this and that, but they totally doing it different.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
They put it wrong, and it kind of line up.
Yeah.
The things I call.
Okay.
And I think we need that.
Yeah.
I don't want to call them no more.
Exactly.
And I know that God's really testing me, but I see how God loves us enough to the things we overlook. They could be out, but they got.
See what God will show you? He will show you what's in them. In spite of what they're doing, he'll show you that the word was and still in them. And it's going to be the word that saved them. But right now, right now, everything is about timing with God and seasons. Everything is about timing and season. When God visits you, your time. His time, my time, totally different. God said, I visit you today. I'm telling you to get saved. You saying, it ain't my time, it's your time. God saying, good. When I visit your children, they're going to tell me the same thing. It's your time, but it ain't my time. Don't cause the children no more damage in their life than what they're dealing with now. Yeah, seek ye first. Kingdom of God. All these things. Yeah. Yeah. See, because listen, a lot of us weren't in pornography until certain people entered our life. And they brought it with them. And they introduced us to it. Now, was that person God sent or enemy sent? Not saying that they can't get saved later on, but the enemy using them right now. Well, I don't think God is real. You ain't got to believe he's real. How could you explain that? Sodomy has entered the life. It's in your home. Sodomy. One of the things that God had told me some years ago, dealing with my phone, when he really started delivering me from a lot of things, he said, get this out of your phone. I didn't know the thing was in the phone. I thought I had deleted this stuff. Get this out of your phone. Then he started telling me, get this number out of your phone. Get this person's number out of your phone. Well, I didn't know what he was, but you know what he was telling me? The demon is associated with the person. Therefore, if you got the number in your phone, this number has a way of entangling, getting into everything in your phone. And my God, when I started deleting this number, oh my goodness. That thing was all over my phone. How did this thing get in my phone like this? One number. One number. Remember back when you could have, when your computer and you'd open up a certain thing, and then that thing would just spread throughout the whole, every program in the computer. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. And that's how the enemy does us. He spread through everything in your body become affected. I don't think nobody in church should be talking about that. Well, I think the people in church need to be talking about it. Because our children are suffering because of this stuff. Because I promise you what, when you get to heaven, hang it up. There ain't no sex. So you might want to go to hell where they can have sex with you. Because in hell, they're going to be plenty of that. But it ain't going to be the humans giving it. It's going to be the demons giving it. Because this is what you don't understand. Where these people dealt with homosexuality in this book of Genesis, where these men dealt with that, they're being dealt with in hell. If you molest a child, the angels are going to work against you. It's going to cost you. If you look at children in the wrong way, because remember now, they are in you looking at what you look at. And they know what you don't know. They know what you think they don't know. They know when you look at a person in a desirable way. One young man told me this some time back. He said, because of certain things that happened, he said, listen, because of certain things that I've done and certain things that I got myself involved with, blah, 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 all this stuff, he said, I don't even bathe my girls. What happened? He said, man, I open up doors. I don't bathe them. They little. I don't bathe them. Now you probably asking the question, who did I have changing my daughter? Door open. And it ain't going away by you wishing it away. You can wish all you want. That door ain't going away. Anybody, what book them two sisters in? Ezekiel? You know them two little nasty sisters? Aholibah and whatever their name, Honolulu, whatever their name is. Them two sisters, little nasty women. Aholibah and a who something. Them two. It's in Ezekiel. And I didn't know this was in the Bible because I ain't never read it. And the thing in the Bible. What are the two sisters' name? Let's pull up Aholibah. Speaking to your phone. Aholibah and Honolulu, they'd be close enough. 23. That's it. Ezekiel chapter 23. Two adulterous sisters. I didn't know this was in the Bible now. Y'all ever thought this was in the Bible? They put this nasty thing right in the Bible. It's God's Bible though. Say again. God had shown me. He had shown my wife and I. We watched the movie. I ain't gonna call the name of the movie. We watched the movie, and God say, "See that spirit there?" But they call it, what is sickness they call it? Bipolar. God said they call it bipolar today, but it is that spirit that you see there. I taught you about that demon called the Queen of the Coast. That's it. That's a spirit of lust. Them incubus and succubus spirit is a spirit of lust. I heard a preacher preach. He said, demons, because he's going by scriptures, demons do not have an angel. They do not have organs, the parts where they can have relationship with men. It's not biblical. I'm listening. Boy, where you been? Where you been? Because you better ask somebody about these demons that get on these women and rape them. You better ask somebody. You better act. We thank God for you guys. I can't go into certain things on YouTube because people are going to use it against me. Listen, I thank God for you guys on YouTube. You won't use this one against me, not this day. I can't afford that. I can't afford my reputation to be messed up. Scandal. All this stuff. But I love you in the name of the Lord. I just don't trust the devil. He uses things against people, and he might use that against me. Be blessed and be encouraged. All right? All right.